Hello ladies and gentlemen, Sigvalda Grim here and welcome to my How to Get Elite for every single season arena guide. This is a long time coming and I've promised to do this for a very long time, but I've been delaying it because I wanted to do a good job on it. Keep in mind that the information that I'm going to present to you over here is an information from an experienced and at the same time new player, because I have had a pretty old account and I have recently started a fresh account about 2 months ago, and since the third season when playing on that account I have managed to hit Elite 4 on every single season. So in this guide I will do my best to tell you how to play Arena most optimally and how to get as close to Elite 4 as possible. This video will be divided in a few sections, and those sections will be: first of all I will explain the Arena system, after that I will explain how to get your roster started, and after that I will explain how to get your team set up. After that I will explain the build order for a new player and give you some tips. After that I will talk about picking your opponents, and after that I will talk about how high do I hit with my teams and what teams do I avoid and why. So first of all, considering those steps, you can see already that this video is aimed more at new players. But even if you are an old player, you will benefit from like 60 to 70% of the information that I'm going to present here. If you're a new player, you'll benefit from 100% of the information that I'm going to present over here. And the other thing is the fact that most of those things I have presented in other videos. And I will link those videos down below because I talk more in depth about those things over there. I have a video where I explain in depth the arena system. I have a video where I tell what to do with your first gems once you start an account. I have a video about team building, and I have a video about how to upgrade your roster and what should be your build order. So I will link all of them in the description if you don't find any of my explanation satisfying enough and you need more in-depth analysis from a video that focuses solely on that point. And keep in mind that I will also leave down below my fighting guides, so you can get better at fighting, because being good at fighting is something that I can't really teach you in this video, and those other videos are going to be for that and it's going to be essential for your progress. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so this is an account that has been made I think 60 days ago to be exact. And as you can see, looking at the top 200 for example, if you go into your arena and you look at it, it most likely will be different. If it's the same, then congratulations, you are in the same arena with me. But it most likely will be not, because there's not only a single arena in the game and there are many arenas. Once every couple of days or weeks, nobody knows how often, a new arena is created, and if you are a new player you will be redirected to the newest arena that has been created. So there are lots and lots of arena, and the difficulty is going to be different in each one of them, and when you are going to create a new account you are going to be put in the most recently created one in order to be put with other new players and be given a fair chance. I'm not aware to be any way to determine when a new arena is going to be created, so in my opinion, and as I have done with my account, the best time to make a new account if you want to do that is before a new season is going to begin. I actually haven't do that if I think about it. I started my account secondary in the middle of the last Justice League Flash season, and I wasn't able to get anything because there was only one day left of fighting and I had the new account. So, I don't think there's any way to determine when one of those new arenas will be created, but since you will be redirected to the newest arena, you should be fine and fighting players with relatively decent accounts. So the best time in my opinion to start is going to be at the beginning of a new arena season to get the full days of fighting and be able to hopefully unlock the character too. Keep in mind that you shouldn't get scared like when you open the game and your arena is unlocked and you go to the top 200 and you see that the top guy already has 1 million threat and you have 30k threat, because that is normal and that is what happened to me when I started a new account. Like the top 10 guys, all of them have had above 1 million threat, and that is normal, and that is totally a good arena, a new arena, and an arena where you can make it. So the older your account is, the harder your arena is going to be, because the players that you are in the same arena with also have accounts that are almost as old as yours or even older, and they would have had much time to play the game and grow the roster. So in the arena you are ranked not based on your personal performance, but based on your personal performance in retrospective to others. So the better the people in your arena will do, the harder your arena will be. That's why when a good character is in the arena, like now with Justice League The Flash or last season with Shazam, it's much harder to get to certain rankings because of the fact that a lot of people are going to play and a lot of people are going to score points, and it will be very hard for you to rank against them unless you work hard as well. There is no way to change the arena in which you are. So for example, if you have made an account like 2 years ago and you have started to actually play on it like 1 month ago, I would definitely suggest that you should start a new account in order to get a fair arena, because you get a lot of characters in the arena. And why I think you should aim for Elite 4? Because of the fact that if you go all the way to Elite 4, you will be able to unlock the character at 4 stars coming from Elite 4. Higher than Elite 4 is not no point really getting into. You'll get a little bit more gems and arena medals, but you will put in much more effort. So that is why I consider Elite 4 to be the best spot, but the first 2 seasons or 3 seasons you should settle for Elite 1. Don't get me wrong, you should try your best to reach Elite 4, but Elite 1 is where I got by playing all the characters that I had in my roster when I started the new account for the first 2 seasons. After that I was able to reach Elite 4 every single season, so that was fine. So this is the arena system explained. I have a video that I will link down in the description where I go in a more depth analysis and I explain it with the comparison between my 2 accounts, so you might want to check that out. This part is more aimed at the new player. When you open a new account, the thing that you will need to do in order to have enough characters to start your arena grind is going to be getting some heroes. And how you are going to get some heroes? First of all, you should get your Batman to 2 stars. Since you receive at the start of the game a Batman that is 1 star, I believe, if I'm not wrong. And you can get shards for him by doing the heroic on chapter 1 with Batman, and you can get him to 2 stars very easily, and that's a good character. The other characters that you're going to get are going to be from the chests. And no, I do not talk about the legendary chest. Don't go for a legendary chest as a beginner, because the chances are very low and you are most likely going to get a crap character. The value for you as a beginner will be from the hero chests and the premium chests. So I have a guide which details a lot more on this that I will leave down in the description, but pretty much at the beginning of the game all your gems should be spent on hero chests and on the premium chest, as long as it has a good hero, but most heroes over here are pretty good, with a few exceptions. So when you start the account, go for one of the 2 and get some characters from there, because you'll get a lot of gems when you start the game. And after a couple of time you can stop doing this, but I really suggest you keep doing this until you have 2 or 3 good gold heroes. Or even a legendary if you are lucky. Yes, you can also get legendaries from this chest, but there are very slim chances, so it's going to be pure luck involved. So until the 2nd season, I would say you should use every single character in your roster. No, actually the first 2 seasons. So until the 3rd season, you should use every single character in your roster in order to have the best performance and rank as high as possible. After that I will talk about in the next section, which will be team setup. And again, I have a video that explains how to spend your first gems more in detail, that I will also link down in the description. Now we're going to talk about how to build your teams and the team setup. So there are a lot of ways to set up your team, and the only thing is that you focus on spreading your powerful characters as much as possible. The way in this game to go will not be by coupling your most highest threat characters in one team and hoping to get as many points as possible while using that. The best option for you will be to divide them in many teams so they can get more points. So right now we're going to give some examples of some team setups. So for example, we got Black Adam over here, which is going to be our damage dealer. A damage dealer is going to be a character that you are going to deal a lot of damage with, as the name says. If you want to know what damage dealers are good, look for characters that are used in online videos for raids. Also look for characters that have stun on their abilities, like for example the Batman's. Over here you can see that there's a stun, which will make him a pretty decent damage dealer. And you should look for characters that have armor piercing on their abilities, like Black Adam over here. But at the very beginning of the game you shouldn't worry about this that much, but a few team setup would be Black Adam, which is going to be our damage dealer, for example. Shazam, which is going to be a support character. Why is he a support character? Because he is going to boost our Shazam with his passive, which is the Courage of Achilles, giving Arcane and Might teammates more attack. And as Shazam is an Arcane teammate, he will most definitely benefit from that. And the third member would be Power Girl as a support character, since Power Girl's passive is going to reduce the cost of the abilities by 2. And this is going to allow your damage dealer to cast abilities more often. This is one example of a team setup. Let's look at another example of a team setup. This is the damage dealer plus 2 supports. Another common setup is going to be the damage dealer plus a support and plus a tank. So as much as we love Shazam, we can just get rid of him and go ahead and replace him with Armored Superman. Armored Superman is going to be both a support character and a tank, because his passive is going to give his team plus 17% defense, and that is also going to apply to him. When identifying tanks, try to look for characters that have passives or abilities that increase their health, and try to look for characters that have super block abilities. Those are going to be your tanks. So another team setup, as I have said, would be a tank character, a damage dealer character, and a support. So in this team we have Power Girl to reduce the cost of Black Adam's abilities, we have Black Adam in order to deal the damage, and we have Superman in order to take as much damage as possible, preventing our Black Adam from getting hit or dying. And let's look at another example that we have over here. A team that I'm using and having a lot of fun with is with Batman. Oopsie. It's with Batman, Green Lantern, and the other Batman. This is the Batman you get from the start of the game. Emerald Green Lantern you can get from the hero chest, and Predator Batman you will be able to get from the arena store. So we got Predator Batman, who is going to be a damage dealer because of his second ability, Stun Bomb. It has a stun, it deals a pretty decent amount of damage, it's good for damage dealer, trust me. The other Batman is also going to be a good damage dealer for the Stun Bomb. Yet again, he has a stun bomb, is going to perform good, he's going to be a very good damage dealer in arena. And before I get comments about this, I just want to point out the fact that I am fully aware that Predator Batman's special 1 is going to be armor piercing, but at the low levels of arena nobody really has armor and nobody has resistances, so for now it's more optimal for me to use the stun bomb, but in the future, yes, I will start using the armor piercing ability, just to make that clear. If you're a new player and you didn't know anything of what that meant, don't worry about it, you don't need to. So I'm going to show you another team setup which is going to perform pretty well for you in the early game, especially when you have mix and match characters. For example, a team that I was using at the beginning of the game was John Stewart Green Lantern with goddamn Swamp Thing. This is a terrible character. Swamp Thing is a terrible character, but I got him from a hero chest. And with the Joker. So Swamp Thing and the Joker were the tanks. Swamp Thing was a tank because of his passive, I guess. Again, this is a terrible character, but at the early stages of arena, you gotta do what you gotta do. Joker was... Joker was a good tank because I got pretty lucky with the free talent rerolls on him, and he had some defense on him. So those characters, their purpose was to tag in and out until I had enough energy, and when I had enough energy I was going to just tag in John Stewart Green Lantern and use his second special in order to deal damage. So this is a mix and match team. You put two useless characters with a character that has a chance to deal damage, and that way you got yourself a team. because at the beginning of the game you should play every single character in your roster in order to get a boost and get to that Elite Four. Because after you get to Elite Four, you unlock a 4-star character and the game will be much easier. This was the team setup part of it, and I will leave a link down in the description for a video where I talk about the team setup in more detail than I did in this video. So you should go ahead and check that out also if what I said was not clear enough. Now we're going to go over the build part of your characters, the build order and some tips towards building your characters. First of all, no, you are not going to get a character to level 70 straight away when you start the game. That is the dumbest thing you can do in terms of arena at least, and to some extent in terms of raids too. Your build order is going to be the following. When you start the game, you are going to take every single character to level 5 gears that you have full gears on him. So when you have 5 gears for a character, you are going to take him straight to level 5, because that is going to be very cheap for you to do, and at the same time will provide a lot for how cheap it is for you to do. So the first 2 arena seasons, as I have said, play every single character and upgrade every single one of them to level 5 gears. The next step will be to get your best team at level 20 gears. All of them. Every single member of your best team should be at level 20 gears. And to give you an example, I got over here the Multiverse team with Captain Cold, Black Lightning, and Multiverse the Flash. Captain Cold is more or less the tank of the team, and as you can see, all the gears on him are going to be level 20, except for that one which is 50. I did not upgrade this, I got it from raid drops. Now, looking at another character on this team, Black Lightning. Also, his gears are all the way to level 20, except for the last gear that I got to level 55 from a random raid drop. And going over to the last character, this is Multiverse the Flash. I have only 1 gear drop from him and 2 random gears that I dropped from the challenge, missing the other 2 gears, so I'm not going to bother upgrading him. So the first step is to get your best team to level 20 gears, because level 20 gears is going to be a decently cheap threshold of upgrading your gears, and it's going to unlock the second bonus on your gears and provide you with pretty good value for how much you spend on it. Keep in mind that while upgrading your gears, they are going to get more and more expensive, but the growth rate of your bonuses will be the same. So for example, you'll receive the same amount of additional attack when upgrading a gear that has attack on it at level 1 to level 2 as you will receive, no, let's give an example, at level 10 to level 11 as you will receive for upgrading it from level 40 to level 41. But it will cost much more for you, so that is why it is more efficient to get a lot of teams to level 20 gears. So after you have gotten your best team to level 20 gears, you will need to get 5 more teams to level 20 gears, because that's how much I recommend for you to play arena a day. 5 teams, 25 fights, maybe 4 teams when the season is easy and there's a bad character, but unfortunately, the arena is really grindy and you really have to play. So the third step is going to be to get 5 teams to level 20 gears. And I have a lot of characters to level 20 gears. Let's pick random ones. Justice League, Aquaman, except for the gear drops, all the gears to level 20. Shazam, just unlocked, all the gears to level 20. Horrific Scarecrow, except for the raid drops, all the gears to level 20. And I got a lot of raid drops on this one, to be fair. Armored Superman, all the gears to level 20 except for the raid drop. And the list goes on. I do my best to have on all the characters I use level 20 gears, because this is the best value you can get in the game in terms of upgrading your gears. After you have upgraded 5 teams to level 20, you should upgrade your best character to level 40 gears. I have upgraded King of Lands Aquaman because I want to use him in raids and I'm doing well enough in the arena, but you can upgrade an arena character first to level 40 gears. But keep in mind that first you need to upgrade the 5 teams to level 20 gears, and only after that you can go for 1 character to level 40 gears. After you have done that, after you have 1 character to level 40 gears and the other 5 teams to level 20 gears, only then you can start gradually getting everybody in those 5 teams to level 40 gears, except for the supports. You don't need to get the support characters, at least for now, higher than level 20 gears. Get your damage dealers first of all. First of all, always upgrade your damage dealers first, and then focus on the rest of the characters. Get your damage dealers and your tanks to level 40 gears with a priority on your damage dealers, and your supports just leave them at 20 for now and for a pretty long time. This is for starting the game a most optimal way to optimize your roster and your spend of resources. Again, I have a more in-depth video on this, on how to upgrade your roster, and I'm going to link it down in the description. And another tip would be 2 tips. Also, I go more in depth on those on the video that I'm going to link in the description. But you should do 2 things, because other than gears, characters have abilities and characters have talents. So first of all, you should make sure that every single day you reroll every single talent on every single character in your roster for free. For me, it's now paid because I have done the free rerolls on my characters. But for you, every day you should get a free reroll on every single character, and you should most definitely go for it. And you should make very full use of it, because as you can see, rerolling talents is pretty expensive, and I think of it as every time I use a free reroll I save this amount of credits. Keep in mind that I recommend you reroll on your full collection, because of the fact that you will not know as a new player what characters are going to be good to use, and you are going to regret it later in the game if you failed to reroll on a good character. And in terms of the last point about building your teams, in terms of upgrading your abilities, you should always upgrade your abilities first on your damage dealers, and for a long time only on your damage dealers. So the other point is to only upgrade the abilities that you are going to use. So let's take a look, for example, at Black Lightning. Black Lightning is going to be one of my damage dealers. So what have I upgraded for him? His passive, I usually upgrade passives for the characters because passives are really good, but for this it just doesn't give me enough stuff in order for me to want to upgrade. But I wanted to point out that his first and second abilities are going to be level 1 because I don't use them. I use only his third ability since that is armor piercing, so I have put all the points into that because that is the only ability that is going to be important for me, and points in other abilities are going to be wasted for me. Now let's take a look at another character. Let's take a look at a tank, Armored Superman. For this character, everything that I should max is going to be his super block, but I didn't get to max that as well because I am focusing on my damage dealers first. So eventually when I'm going to build this character, the only thing that I'm going to max is his super block because he is a tank. Again, only max the abilities that you will need to use, and this way you will spare yourself a lot of credits. I think those were all the points that I had to make for this, and when upgrading your special abilities, keep in mind that for every single team that you're going to use out of those 5 that I recommend is the minimum for everybody, you are going to want to have 1 or maximum 2 special abilities upgraded per team. You don't need more than that. Upgrade your abilities only on your damage dealers and only the 1 ability that you are going to use. And if you are using a team that has 2 damage dealers, then upgrade 1 ability on each. Oh boy, was this a long one, but we are not done yet. Again, the video with more in-depth on this part that we have discussed right now will be linked in the description. And now we're going to get onto how to pick your opponents. Okay, so right now I'm going to walk you through picking your opponents, and there are a few things to keep in mind. First of all, you should avoid legendary characters because at the early stages of the game it will be hard for you to deal with legendary characters. You should avoid Power Girl, and yes, I'm mentioning Power Girl because she's a very common character that you will meet, and she will surprise you with the damage that she's going to have on her special one. That is going to be dot damage, which will be very effective on you regardless of the armor, and she will also reduce the cost of the abilities. And don't get me wrong, I have absolutely no problem fighting Dr. Fate, but her special one is just too annoying. I need to mention that because I have had a lot of nasty fights with them lately. And avoid all the iconic teams like the pre-made teams, the Justice League teams, the League of Anarchy teams, the Batman Ninja teams, and the Suicide Squad teams. Yes, in terms of Champions Arena, you will need to eventually learn to deal with those teams, but for now it is in your best interest to get to Elite 4, so a very important factor is to pick your teams right. Keep in mind that this threat over here, the number that's above Batman's head right now, is not going to be an indicator of how strong the enemy team is, but more like how many points you are going to get for beating that team. See that thing more as a cash grab icon than a threat icon. And when picking your teams, you have to know the strengths of your opponents and the strengths of your teams. Also, you should avoid shields, characters with shields, because that is simply annoying in my opinion. You can work around it, but why bother? You should also avoid pretty much every single character that is going to beat your ass. This will take some learning, and you'll need to figure out yourself what characters are annoying to you and what characters you can't beat, and maybe make a list with those characters and do your best to avoid them. Like, why fight something that is going to beat you when you have the choice not to fight it? So right here we are not going to fight this because it's going to be maybe too easy, let's say. Let's fight this team. Like, with this team, another important thing is to know your strength. Like, know the strength of your team and the potential of your team, and at the same time know how good you are at the game. And be fair with yourself. You are probably not going to hit teams that are 4 times higher threat than your team. I am sometimes able to do that because I'm playing the game for a long time, and in no time you'll also be able to do that yourself. But for now you should settle for teams that you can beat, but nevertheless try to hit higher than your threat, because as I have said, not the characters that are in that team are important, but not the threat of the characters that are in that team is important, but the characters that are in that team. So for example, this team is going to have 440 threat, and I'm going to beat it easily. This team below it has 375 threat. I'm probably gonna be able to beat this too if I want it, but it will be much harder for me to do so, because those characters synergize with themselves being multiverse teams. Those characters are just a mix and match team, and they pose no threat to me, they don't have any good stuns, and they are not able to have any random effects that affect me, no shields, no nothing. This is a very easy team to beat. I'm going to fight it, but I'm going to record my audio after I fight, over the fighting, because I don't have a microphone and it will sound pretty bad. Okay, so we are here fighting the team that you saw me pick, and this will be a pushover. This is a very easy team to beat. I could have gone for much higher teams, and we are going to go over a clip like that in a moment. But for now you can see the fact that I have absolutely no problem dealing with this team. Since it's a mix and match team, the characters had absolutely no synergy in between them, had no stuns, had no shields, had absolutely nothing that could put the life of my damage dealer in danger. So over here you have an example on the extreme end of the spectrum. You can see that this team has easily 5 times my threat, but that's not going to be the problem, because, and yet again, this is a risky fight to take because they have so much threat, and as a new player you might not be able to do this, and you shouldn't look for this. Just do as much as you can but look to improve. But in regards of this team, like a 500k team with annoying characters could have whooped my ass, but I have no problem taking on this 1 million team because their characters are not going to be any problem for me. The only probable problem that I'm going to encounter is if I get blocked by Shazam and I get my abilities disabled and maybe a special of his casted on me. But other than that, this fight will be 100% up to how good I play, and will not be taking into account any random effect, any shields, any broken synergy in between characters. This is just a fight about how good I can play and about how I can manage my own characters. So this is the fights that you're looking for. You're looking for characters that don't belong in the same team normally, and characters that are not annoying in any way. And other than the characters that I have mentioned, you can just avoid every single character that bothers you, because most of the times I do that, because it's arena, you can refresh. Honestly, I spend more time refreshing fights than actually fighting fights, because picking a good opponent will be very important. And yet again, A team full of legendaries with 500,000k threat would have destroyed me, but I had no problem beating this team because they are easy characters to deal with, and that's what you are looking for. Other than the tips that I have gave you, and yet again you should check out the links in the description in order to check out more, it also depends a lot on your skill when using certain characters and your skill in fighting in Injustice 2 Mobile in general. And for that also I have a playlist with 3 guides about how to fight in Injustice 2 Mobile, and I will also link them down below. So before we end this video, I'm going to walk you through what teams I'm using after like 2 months of having this account, and kind of how they work, but this will be a fast process. So first of all, one team I use is King Altan's Aquaman, because I also have him built for raids, with Shazam over here, because he's going to boost King Altan's Aquaman, because he is a might character, King Altan's Aquaman, and with Dr. Fate that I still don't have at 4 stars, we'll get there soon, in order to reduce the power bar cost on them. So this is a team with 2 supports and 1 damage dealer. Another team that I'm using is Justice League Aquaman with Justice League Batman. I have them in the same team because they have a synergy in between them, being 2 Justice League teammates. And along with them I'm going to use for now Silver Bane until I get a better option. Another team that I'm using is Multiverse Captain Cold, as more or less a tank, with Multiverse Black Lightning as a damage dealer. This guy is a good damage dealer. And with Multiverse The Flash as a support character for the both of them, and they all have synergies in between them since they are all Multiverse characters. I use Black Adam along with Power Girl in order to reduce the cost of his abilities, and along with Superman in order to tank for them and in order to grant them that additional survivability. And another team that I'm using is Predator Batman as a damage dealer, the normal Batman as a support and as a damage dealer, and Emerald Green Lantern as a support because of his passive, so they get buffed on when they tag in or out. I know there might have been more optimal teams that I could have made with this roster, and when the arena is hard I play like maybe 2 more. But it also matters how much fun you have, and for me those are the most fun teams that I can use and also do a great job with them. So good luck in building your teams, good luck in getting that desired elite for your new account and even for your old account if you are able to. Thank you very much for watching, I hope you found this helpful. Again, check out all the links in the description for all the parts of this video in more detail. And if you found this helpful, I would really appreciate if you subscribe to the channel and don't miss out on future content. With all that being said, yet again thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.